Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am your Ice Dragon, Rayron VR. Got another Icy Rail news video for you guys. And unfortunately, we have lost yet another staple in the hobby. Campbell kits basically made these very detailed, intricate housing. They've got all these other buildings that you would have to literally put together. And what I mean by this is that they had like sheets of wood that you literally had to cut out almost to the exact blueprints of the instructions. My wife and I were gifted one of these Campbell model kits, and I tell you what, it was the most difficult thing to put together. Needless to say, we never finished it. But it was definitely not your average plastic kits that we see today from like Walthers and so forth. And it was definitely the most advanced kit that I've ever come across. And unfortunately, when you go over to their Campbell scale model website, it is completely blank. Now, they did have kind of a little bit of announcement on this website about what happened, but essentially the business has closed. And so our good friend over at Jim Kello MMR, if you guys don't know who Jim Kello is, he owns the YouTube channel New Tracks Modeling. Over there they talk about all the scratch building, and if you really want to get into the buildings and the scenery and the techniques for building and so forth, that's really a channel that focuses on that type of stuff. Jim Kello MMR had this announcement. This is where I found about the news that gosh, you hate to hear this, but Campbell Scale Models has closed down, and they left a little bit of a thank you on their website. Unfortunately, that is no longer there. When I checked this out this morning, that statement was there. So I was hoping that I can get a screenshot of it. And luckily for us, we do have it. So this is basically what was on the website. They've taken it down since. So I don't know if they've kind of reversed some of their sayings here, which we'll go over here in a second. But nevertheless, it looks like they are closing down. So thank you for visiting Campbell Scale Models Online. A big thank you to all of our dedicated customers. Some of you have been with us for over 60 years, but everything must come to an end as those actively involved in the railroad hobby became older and older. It becomes harder for any railroad product manufacturer to survive. It's hard to see that company like CSM close its doors after 63 years. Let's hope as a country we will survive the next few years. Darkness and evil has descended upon the world, but have hope, God wins in the end. Please note that this website will no longer be viewable past May 12th, 2023. So there is a lot, and I mean a lot, to unpack from here. So we've got obviously the economical standpoint from this company. There's also a political standpoint, and there's also a religious standpoint to this. I'm only going to touch upon the economical viewpoint when it comes to this statement. Obviously, I don't want to get too political, too religious on this channel. If you guys want to talk more about my opinions on those two aspects, feel free to message me in Discord, and I'll be happy to kind of discuss his last two kind of big phrasing that they said here. But let's talk about the economical points of the Campbell model. So these kits, like I said before, are definitely difficult to put together. They're not for the faint of heart. They're definitely more advanced users of the hobby, and it's not user friendly. Let me just put it that way. You've got to be experienced in almost scratch building to put one of these these kits together, essentially. And it was definitely not for me. It's not the part of the hobby that I am interested in per se. I'm not big into the scratch building. I'm not into building buildings in general. Even the modern day Walthers kits, I tend to struggle with. As you guys seen from this channel, I am an engineer. I'm an operator first and foremost, and then I'm kind of a collector second. And so when it comes to scratch building and building these advanced kits and buildings and so forth, it's really low priority for me when it comes to the channel. Again, there's plenty of other channels like New Track Modeling. You got Go Via Go Home. You've got all these other channels that focus on these type of aspirations of the hobby. And again, that's what makes this hobby so great. There's a reason why I say that it is the world's greatest sandbox hobby, because you got so many different aspects of this hobby that is just great to see. And the fact that now when it comes to, if you're into scratch building, if you're into these type of kits that are very detailed but very time consuming to put together, unfortunately you've lost one of those main companies that supports that portion of the hobby. And for me, that's sad because everyone should be able to do this hobby in any way that they see fit. If you want to go after these very complicated kits, or if you want to take these kits and kit bash with other kits, that's what Campbell was mostly used for. From what I've seen, is that there's a lot of pieces in here that people will take, like say a window from this building and put it into another building, or put it into a flat and so forth. That's what this company was good for, and the fact that we're losing this part of the hobby is really sad to see. Now, unfortunately, I was reading through some of the comments on that Facebook post, and changing times, and they kind of said that in there, is that the hobby is getting kind of older. As your customers get older, it takes longer to build these kits, and at the end of the day, they're just not be able to market it towards the next generation, and that's a sad thing, because like I said, it is a part of the hobby that we have to recognize. It is a thing. People get their enjoyment in very different ways when it comes to this hobby, and the fact that we're losing that is kind of unfortunate. But here's where I will again tackle the economic side a little bit. With the rise of 3D printing and 3D modulars, or I always want to say modulars, but more of 3D figurines and cars and so forth, it does not surprise me that they're going out of business, because the newer generations, we want that instant gratification. And I think with the rise of 3D printing, I unfortunately see more of these companies going to go out of business as we start getting more accessibility when it comes to 3D printing. So yeah, it is definitely sad to see, but again, it is modern times, and if you just don't adapt to what's coming up, and especially if you can't get to that market base, to that market share, we're going to have more companies like this kind of go out of business, unfortunately, or just close up shop. So, and again, as you can see, there's other aspects of this why they closed, but again, I'm just speculating, but there's a lot of other things at play when it comes to this. So, but yeah, definitely sad to see, but yeah, that's unfortunately business and capitalism and all that stuff. So with the guys, have you ever had one of these Campbell models? I know I tried it. Yeah, it didn't work out for me too well, but again, nevertheless, it's still sad to see that aspects of our hobby are slowly dying, which is definitely not what I want to see, but it is what it is, unfortunately. So with the guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next video.